If all the trouble in my heart would only mend, I lost my dream, I lost my reason all again.
Hey YouTube, I'm back. It's been a long while. I am sorry about that. It's been an interesting, long few months. If anybody's interested, I can tell some of those saddening stories. But everything's okay now, as okay as it can be. So I wanted to make a video. I actually have a ton of stories of my time growing up in Germany. So I thought that I would make a series. I was going to call it my Tough Time series because admittedly all of these stories are not the happiest, but I learned a lot of lessons and hopefully you can learn from me and not make my same mistakes. Sorry, my little kitten is doing crazy things. I'm gonna show her. Come here, baby. This is Stormy. She's a little Siamese. And she beeps instead of meows. Anyway, so the story that I wanted to tell has come up a lot in my brain and in conversation because of something that happened recently. I am from Germany. I lived there for 10 years. I miss it dearly. My parents are still over there. But that's what I consider my home. I moved there when I was 12 and I left when I was 22 and now I'm 25. So I became a child to an adult there and had a lot of crazy adolescent experiences that I wouldn't trade for the world, but they were definitely some tough times, hence what I will be calling this series. But this particular time has come up in my memory due to something that happened in the town that I'm from. I think she was 14. A 14-year-old girl was recently found in some fields. She was found dead. And it's completely like unheard of over there. I mean, of course there's crime everywhere, but in general I feel like most people feel safe in that area. It like wasn't, you know, a dangerous area. For me it was, because I'm the unluckiest person in the world. Everybody will tell you this. It's okay, I've embraced it. But that happened in my town and it freaked me out because I had a lot of dangerous, weird experiences in my town and it seemed safe to everybody else. But the story I'm going to be telling is the story where I was almost kidnapped. And I know that sounds like some strange YouTube clickbait. I feel like there's probably millions of videos with that same title. But this really did happen and it really was terrifying, and now it's just kind of become a part of me along with all these other things that have happened to me, and it taught me a lot. But unfortunately I feel like more than teaching me a lot, it has contributed to my, sorry, my cats. It has contributed to my horrible anxiety and constant impending doom, but that's okay. That's who I am now. But so basically what happened, I was 16. I might have been 15, but I think I was at least closer to 16. It was after school. I hung out with my friends after school. I don't know what we were doing that day. Probably just hanging out somewhere downtown. So I was catching the city bus home because in Germany everybody takes the city bus, even school children. So it's considered very safe. Students, school age students have a bus pass that they use, so they don't have to pay, so that's just the way they get to school. So I don't know what time it was probably around 7 or 8 o'clock. when I was on my way home from hanging out. And sorry, my cat is literally driving me insane. She's creeping. So I was on the bus, nothing weird happened on the bus, but when I got off the bus, you know, I had my headphones in, my little like ear plugs, phones, whatever the fuck they're called, and I was walking home from the bus stop. So let me explain the path from the bus stop to my house. So when you get off the bus, there is a soccer field and a playground, and then you keep on walking and there's like a whole, like an empty field, and then there's like a little pathway, and then there's my house. But there are like neighborhoods around the playground and around the soccer field, so there are houses around, but it is a kind of like not closed off area, but it is an area that's not like super surrounded by like a ton of civilization. So and it's probably like a 10-minute walk to my house. So I get off the bus, I have my headphones in, I'm walking, and I can see a shadow that there's somebody behind me, but you know, whatever, like hopefully they're just walking home. So I keep on walking, I hear this person say something, but I don't want to have a conversation with them, so I just keep on walking, I act like I can't hear them. So this keeps on happening, he keeps on trying to say something, and we keep on walking, and then I get to the point where there's the fields, and then after the fields is like this like dark, creepy path, and then it's my house. So I have to get past the field area, and across the street there are houses. But the side that I'm walking on is like, has like a bunch of empty open fields. So I'm walking, and I hear something again, and he like kind of steps to the side of me to where I can't really like act like I don't like hear him or know that he's there. So I just kind of like go like this, like I can't hear you. So I keep walking, and I hear him say, "Do you want to come with me?" And I turn around and I'm like, "No, dude, like no." Just walking home, and keep on walking, and then he grabs my arm. I feel him grab my arm, and he says, "You're coming with me." And he like pulls me close to him, and he starts trying to like pull me away, like drag me away. And luckily, I guess I have been 5'8" for a very long time, and he was probably about my size, but so he couldn't just like pick me up and run away with me, but I didn't know what to do, and he was trying, like literally physically trying to take me. So I started just screaming as loud as I could, and I screamed help, just super, super loud, because I figured, you know, we are by a neighborhood, and there's no way that he wants to get in trouble, so hopefully the louder I scream, the more he will want to let me go so he doesn't get caught. So I just screamed and I screamed and I screamed help, and then I just felt him like loosen the like grasp he had with me, and I ran, and I had to run down this creepy path to get home the fastest way, and I was so scared running down this freaking pathway. It is like a dark, dark pathway. All of my friends know how creepy it is. We always scare each other in that path, but it's always kind of a little overgrown, a ton of grass, a bunch of trees, so it's just like literally a dark, especially at night, because it was, I'm pretty sure it was like in the winter time, so it was pitch black when this was going on, and there's, you know, literally like a light at the end of the tunnel, like a small little light where the street lights are, and I had to run down this creepy, creepy path. Literally the entire time I was like, I hope he's not behind me. I like felt like he was behind me. I was so scared, and then I turned and I ran into my house, screaming, and my parents were both downstairs, and I told them, honestly, we 100% should have called the police. I was like, I had in such like a adrenaline rush and like so freaked out, and I just like told them everything that had happened, and they were just like, wow, like that's scary. And then that was strangely it. But yeah, that's the story that I was almost kidnapped in Germany, and I I almost feel like it's like normal for me because of all the other crazy stuff that happened, but I have a lot more stories. I will totally tell them all if you guys are interested. Our house there was also broken into, and these are all unheard of things, like literally, like I don't know why they happened to me, but if you're interested, I'll be happy to share my misery with the world. Because I mean, all these shitty things have happened. Might as well tell a story. Thank you for spending time with me. I will be back soon. Bye, YouTube.